So good, so good, so good. I feel like a hype guy. Okay, we have 15 minutes left. Time pressure clearly makes me more, ooh. And we're going to do some quick math. So 15 minutes left and 4 people left is 3.75 minutes per person. So, Jace, you're up. Nice.
Yeah, man. My name is Jace. I am a proud queer Gomeroi, whichever like transgender person. In my day job, I work as a mental health peer navigator for LGBTIQA plus people in mental health services. I'm going to read a little poem. This poem was in the book that my partner and I recently curated that features only queer and disabled people from across South Australia. Thank you. If you're interested in that, just Google "Oh How We Laughed Jace" and it'll come up on top of Google search. I keep checking and it makes me very excited. I'm like, oh, my book and my name right up the top there. All right. Trigger warning for a slur and mention of psychiatric institutions. This poem is called Black, Broke, Crazy and Trans. I knew I was black from when I was young. My mum knew very little of her people, so I sat down in front of the TV and watched their animated Dreamtimes. All my best friends at school were black. It was just easier to exist with them than with anyone else. We just got each other in ways no one else could. My great-grandfather died a year to the day before I was born. My mum swore he visited her in a dream and said he would pass his spirit on to me. Now that's pretty black. I knew we were broke pretty young too. When I was born, my dad worked long hours driving trucks, and all my clothes were second-hand, unless wealthier family members bought gifts. We lived in a pretty broke part of town, housing commissions and recently released homes. I remember my auntie invited us to dinner for her 40th, and me, my dad, and my baby sister shared one meal from Hog's Breath Cafe. Now that's pretty broke. It took me a little longer to realize I was crazy. I first tried to kill myself when I was 6. I thought that I could pull my bookshelf down on top of me and maybe I would die. It sounds crazy now, but I just knew I needed to die. I got hospitalized for the first time at 14 and spent most of my school holidays from that point on in children's psych hospitals. Now that's pretty crazy. I wish I'd known I was trans sooner. Everyone is impressed that I came out so young, right before I turned 16, but it didn't feel like the right time. It felt astronomically too late. I made so many choices up to that point to hide that I was trans, but I wasn't even sure I knew how to be who I really was. But I carved my new life with my new name and said fuck you to anyone who questioned me. Now that's pretty trans. My life has been surrounded by being black, broke, crazy, and trans, but the more I think about it, the more I am proud that it makes me, me. And I guess the one little thing that I do want to mention is that oftentimes when we conceptualize these days, we are thinking about those that we've lost, and that is so incredibly important. But I think it is important to recognise that there is a chance that some of us don't rock up in the room next year. So it is really important that you're constantly checking in on the people that you care about and also checking in on yourself, because we all want to be back in this room again. I was also recently at Parliament House with the Conversion Practices Reading Bill, and so much of that came down to if I wasn't here after all the shit that I went through, to look Kayem Ma in the eyes and be like, you need to do something about this, then maybe it wouldn't have happened. So we all need to make sure that, look at the person next to you, you're like, I'm making sure that you're here next year. That might not be in this room, but it's Earthside. Thank you all.